Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a great Monday and I hope you are doing so well. I want to talk about today something that is so prevalent that I'm working with so many people with, but something that we don't love to talk about. And that is digestion and bloating, right? So I wanted to just talk today about what bloating is, why it happens, and what we can do about it. So give me a heart below if this is something that you have been plagued by or challenged by and struggle with, and this is valuable to you, because there is a level of bloating that is normal and there is a level of bloating that's not. So it can just be helpful to understand more about this and what we can do to just help us feel our best all around. Because we know, so bloating is essentially excess water and gas in our colon. And this is the lower part of our GI tract. So this can be really uncomfortable, right? If we are feeling bloated, we're not feeling like we want to exercise or be active. We feel sluggish. We just don't want to do as much. So it's so important that we can navigate and manage this so we can feel our best and live our lives, okay? So this affects our mood, our well-being, and it can happen after meals. Like when we eat and digest our food, there is a level of water that comes into our GI tract that allows this process to happen. So it's normal for there to be distension a little bit in your stomach when you eat and digest your food. There's a huge difference between like pain and, discomfort and really a lot of consistent bloating, gas, all those things after you eat. That is not typically normal. So why does this happen? When we overeat or we consume certain foods that are harder to break down, digestion can result in bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea. There's different levels of this. So this can lead us to that discomfort, that pain, that distension. And some things that can cause this are swallowing excessive air, eating too quickly, chewing gum, eating while talking, eating certain foods, introducing gas into the stomach from carbonation. So if you're constantly having carbonated beverages, slow gut motility, so meaning the ability for your food to move through your GI tract is slower. Increased sensitivity in the gut nerve endings, and this is related to stress and anxiety, definitely affects digestion, food sensitivities and intolerances, and a diet that's really high in salt, which is going to be a lot of processed foods, sugar, alcohols, and undereating. So as you can see, there's so many things that can cause this, and it's really important that you understand what the reason is in your situation. This is a huge piece I'm working with people around, is really understanding individually why this is happening for you. So our digestive system contains enzymes that help us break down the food that we eat. And when we consume foods that are higher in fiber or foods that are higher in lactose, like dairy foods, if we have an intolerance to lactose, if we don't have the enzyme to break that down, we can have discomfort with that. So if our body isn't able to fully break down that food, we can have digestive discomfort. So our colon is absorbing more water in there to help with that process. So there are certain foods that can lead to bloating, and this can be a lot of times with carbohydrates, right? So foods high in fiber definitely can lead to more gas and bloating. And because the reason this happens is fiber is the non-digestible part of carbohydrates, and our body doesn't break it down. So there's so many benefits with fiber in our diet. It can help to pull blood sugar, pull cholesterol from our bloodstream. It can help to regulate our blood sugar, and it can help to bulk up our stool, improving digestion. And it's also a prebiotic, which is food for the good bacteria in our GI tract. So it's really important that we're getting fiber in our diet. However, if you are eating currently a very low fiber diet and you all of a sudden introduce all this fiber at once, our digestive system is not going to be used to that, and it can cause like a party with our gut bacteria being like, oh my gosh, there's all this fiber in here, and they're like, going crazy. So what is happening is our gut bacteria is helping to break down this fiber, and it's essentially called the fermentation process there. So this can lead to gas, and it's pulling in extra water as well. So this can lead to more of that bloating feeling. So with fiber, you want to slowly introduce these foods into your diet if you're currently eating very little of these. So generally speaking, about 25 to 40 grams of fiber is generally a good amount to estimate getting. And if you don't know how much you're having, this is something that I'll work with my clients around, of doing a food, mood, and lifestyle journal with them and really looking at the diet, what's going, what kind of foods they're eating, what the breakdown is looking like, so we can identify adjustments that we can make for them individually. Another thing that can happen is if you have a sensitivity or an intolerance to certain foods. So some people cannot break down lactose. Lactose is the sugar in dairy, and we need a certain enzyme called lactase to break this down. So if for whatever reason you don't have this enzyme and you're not breaking down the lactose, it's going into our colon undigested, and it's leading to that gas and bloating feeling. So very simply, you can take a lactase pill, and that can help sometimes with a lot of people if that's the challenge, but it really helps to, identify what your diet's looking like and how you're feeling with certain foods and certain meals to pinpoint this for you. Everybody's so different. High fiber foods are going to be veggies, they're going to be cauliflower, broccoli are the higher veggies, right? Legumes, which are going to be beans and lentils. And these foods are very healthy and nutritious, but if you are, again, eating really low fiber, they may cause you some GI upset. So maybe just having a smaller amount of them if you're noticing that. Combining foods together, right? If you're having these fiber foods, include protein, include some healthy fat. So you want to get a variety of foods so we're not just eating only carbs or, only one food group. Another thing that can be a problem is artificial sweeteners and sugar alcohols. So these have no calories. That's why they're so popular, but we don't digest them. So if we're not digesting them, they have to go somewhere, right? So they're moving through our body undigested, but then in the colon, our body's like, oh, I don't really know what to do with this. I can't break it down. So that can cause some of that, again, GI upset with the gut bacteria. And this can cause, they're pulling in water into the colon. And so if you're noticing that you're, having a lot of artificial sweeteners in your diet, if you have diabetes or any blood sugar management issues, and you're really doing a lot of artificial sweeteners, this can also be a problem. Sugar alcohols are more common now. If you have a moderate amount of these in your diet, you should be fine. But if 3 times a day or every meal you're having this stuff, it can start to add up and affect you. So it's just awareness, really of paying attention to what you're eating, how you're eating also, which I'll talk about in a second. And the other thing is foods high in sodium. So if you're eating a diet that's very highly processed, there's likely going to be a lot of sodium in these foods because they're increasing the shelf life. And this can pull in a lot of water into our gut as well, into our colon with the high sodium content. And this can also make us feel really bloated. So alcohol can also cause this to happen. Alcohol's fermented. So it's kind of this perfect mix, right? If we're having a lot of these foods in our diet, highly processed foods, high sodium, a lot of alcohol, artificial sweeteners, there's just so many different things that can affect you. So if you're doing a lot of these at once, this could be part of the problem. The other thing that is really not talked about that can also lead to bloating and a lot of GI upset is under-eating, under-nutrition. So this can be intentionally or unintentionally not eating enough during the day by just being busy and skipping meals and not paying attention. And I see some people just unintentionally eating 800 calories a day because they just don't even think about it. It's just they're so busy. But this can also cause a lot of GI upset if you're doing this chronically. One day, not a big deal, but if this is your lifestyle and constantly doing this, this can really cause some GI problems. And the reason for this, which I have to do another whole video on, but essentially things are down regulated, right? our digestive system slows down to conserve energy because we feel like we're not eating enough of those things. So as a result, GI motility slows down, and this can lead to very quick fullness, even with very little food. So our brains are built for survival, and it will regulate our metabolism, our heart rate, temperature, digestion, and hormones. And if our body feels like it's starving or it's malnourished and not getting the nutrients and minerals that it needs to function, it's going to conserve energy by down-regulating other non-essential processes for survival. So some things that we can start seeing are, again, slow gut motility. So your body's like really utilizing everything you're giving it because it thinks it's not going to be getting enough. Maybe we're cold all the time because our temperature isn't regulated. Poor skin integrity, really dry skin or pale skin, or just, not having that. Skin is the largest organ in our body, right? It's our whole body. So that is going to be something that we're seeing affected if something's going on internally with us too. Slowed heart rate, digestive pains, poor metabolism. So our metabolism is going to slow down. Irritability, low energy. So this is like a lot of different things that we can look at here with undernutrition. So overeating and undereating both are problematic. It's finding this middle ground. And this really can affect not only, how we feel, but our emotional well-being. It can affect our mood and our energy. So it's all very, very related with nutrition and lifestyle. Okay, so what can we do about it, right? So how can we cope with this? Preventatively, digestion begins upward to downward, right? So it begins in our brains, in our mouth. So our body can sense if we're in a very stressed state. So you want to try to eat in a calm, relaxed environment. And if you're constantly like in this upregulated state and constantly stressed, like your body identifies that. It doesn't discriminate against stress if it's physical or mental. And it's going to focus on that as survival and not focus on digesting your food. So try to take a break when you're eating your meal. Slow down. If you're fighting with somebody or having an argument, it's going to affect your digestion. So it's something that we just don't always think about, but it can totally be related to that. Eating slowly. Slowing down. So if you're like eating really fast, inhaling your food, all this like air is going in too. And it's like, oh my gosh, I just ate way too much and I don't feel good. So make sure you're not going too long without eating, because that's typically when we're going into a meal feeling ravenous. Chew your food, slow down, sip water, minimize distractions while you're eating, and reduce salt. So if you're eating, again, highly processed diet, this can really lead to a lot of bloating. Reducing sugar alcohol. So this is things like xylitol, sorbitol, mannitol. These can be a lot in diet sodas if you're a big diet soda drinker. Gums, a lot of sweets or things that have artificial sweeteners in them. They're taking out the calories from sugar and adding that in there. Protein bars have a lot of sugar alcohols. Like if you have one protein bar a day with sugar alcohol and that's the only form of sugar alcohols you're having, you probably won't have a problem. But if you're having like 3 protein bars a day, that's probably why your stomach's upset. So just being aware of those things. Okay, so now if you have bloating symptoms currently or struggling with that, what you can do with this is just sip some water. Slowly drink water, rehydrate. So if you're had a lot of sodium, had a lot of alcohol, drink water. Peppermint tea can be really helpful, and peppermint oil. If you rub peppermint oil, right on your belly or lower abdomen, that can be really helpful. A heating pad can be really helpful, or just some light movement. So I'm going to post some awesome yoga poses that can be helpful too. So stay tuned for that. And even just like going for a walk or moving. So not like running high intensity, but just like moving your body and just to help get things moving in your GI tract that way. And then like wear comfortable clothes. If you're having just like a bloated day, like wear clothes that are not restrictive and tight and uncomfortable. It's just going to make you feel worse. So, just do things that are going to make you feel better. Slow down. Maybe your body's telling you that you need to slow down. And if you're having like shooting pains and discomfort, like, you may need to just like take a break and check out and just like surrender to that feeling. And maybe that means just like having some time for yourself, slow down, do some deep breathing, do something that you enjoy, sip on some tea, read a book, just like snuggle in and chill out. A lot of this is stress related. And this is what I see the biggest time is lifestyle factors. So one of the first things that I have my nutrition clients do is doing a food, mood, lifestyle journal. And we're not only looking at the foods that they're eating, we're also looking at lifestyle factors that definitely play a role. We're looking at timing of meals, frequency of meals, quantity of meals, like all of these things matter. And I really dive deep into these things. I do a full nutrition assessment with each person, diving deep into all these lifestyle factors and really understanding what this looks like for you. Everybody's different. There's no right answer and like magic answer with this. But it begins with awareness. And if you're struggling with this and just really lost and confused, the biggest challenge I see people with is that they don't want to take the time to pay attention, honestly, and like really look at what they're doing on a day-to-day basis because we're so busy and we just discount this and we don't pay attention to how we feel, what we're doing, and what we need to do for ourselves more. So if you're going to continue to put your needs last, you're probably not going to feel good. And I don't mean to come off as like, aggressive or mean, but it's the truth. Like you need to slow down, pay attention to your body and trust your body. Like your body is so smart. It knows exactly what you need. A lot of times we're just not listening. So if this is something you're struggling with, totally reach out. We can have a conversation, but the take-home message here is that healthy eating is not just about counting macros and eating less. Eating healthy may mean eating enough and enough of the right foods for your body to actually function optimally. So that's the main message. Let me know if this is helpful for you guys. I'm going to send out in my weekly newsletter this week more on this topic. I'll post some yoga poses that can be helpful with this. And let me know if you have any other questions. That I can go on forever. There's so many things to talk about here. Hi, Jody. So good to see you. Oh, I miss you too. I had 2 chocolate martinis, made me go to cake and cookie, get back on track the next day. Oh, I hope you had such a great birthday dinner. It was so fun. Yeah, we all have those days. We totally all have those days where we overdo it. We eat more than we want to. I do it too. I'm a human. But the difference is that we're like, okay, I know how good it feels when I do things that make me feel good. So I'm getting back to my routine. And that's exactly what Jody's doing. She knows what works for her and we're moving forward. Hey, Rachel, so good to see you. Thanks for joining Team Live. Love it. As you're watching, this is a replay. Comment below. Let me know Team Replay if you have any questions here for you guys. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon.